My childhood friend and I were reborn together. On the day Ethan was supposed to confess, he told me, "I have feelings for someone else," then abandoned me to rush into his new relationship. I changed my number and moved away, cutting all contact. Years later at our reunion, he arrived arm in arm with his lover while I stood alone in a shadowed corner. He smirked triumphantly, "Still hung up on me?" Begged nicely and I might reconsider. I flashed my wedding ring. "Apologies, I'm married." Later, witnesses saw the untouchable Ethan desperately clutching a woman's sleeve on the sidewalk. Voice breaking, "Ivy. Couldn't we try again? Ivy. I've found my soulmate. Let's keep our distance to avoid misunderstandings. I've always seen you as a sister." Seeing Ethan's youthful face, I instantly knew he'd also been reborn. This was the day he'd confessed in our past life. I'd accepted then, only for him to cheat with the campus queen weeks later. Now I calmly echoed his past betrayal, completely agree. Relief flooded his features. "Knew you'd understand. Come to me anytime you need help." Unnecessary. I walked away without looking back. When Ethan posted his new relationship online, I was already at work. My best friend bombarded me with screenshots. "Wasn't he supposed to propose to you?" After I explained, she exploded, "That bastard. I'll skin him alive." I stopped her. "Forced fruit tastes bitter anyway. Besides, he's not the one I want." "Wait, you don't love him?" "Haven't for years." As she demanded details, a familiar tall figure emerged from the corporate tower, Liam. Ethan's lifelong rival. My husband from the previous life. Spotting me, he froze before closing his eyes in pained resignation. Here to humiliate me again? Last lifetime, Liam had married me to repay my father's mentorship, yet never touched me. I'd assumed our marriage was transactional, until finding his journals after his accident. Page after page documented his silent devotion across 3 years of marriage. Now at this crossroads, before Ethan's confession ruins everything again, I smile at the man who loved me in shadows. This time, the game changes. "What are you crying for?" Liam's voice snapped me back to reality. His brows were furrowed, his tone harsh. His severity only made my tears fall faster. "You started yelling at me first. Why are you the one crying now?" His warm palm cupped my face as he clumsily wiped my tears. When the tears kept flowing, he sighed in resignation. "Fine. Yell at me all you want. Just stop crying." I looked up at him with watery eyes. "Liam, does that promise you made to Professor Peter still stand?" He froze. "What?" "I want to marry you." No emotion flickered across his handsome face, though his eyes darkened. "Let me guess, you need me to make Ethan jealous again." My breath caught, remembering how I'd previously used him to provoke Ethan into confessing his feelings. Guilt twisted my stomach. I gripped his sleeve. "Liam, what if I told you I like you? Would you believe me?" His lips pressed into a thin line of disbelief, producing my household registration booklet from my bag. I whispered, "We can go to City Hall right now." Professor Peter had slipped the documents into my purse days ago when he'd practically dragged us to the courthouse entrance, an attempt I'd stubbornly resisted. Though known for his unshakable composure, I noticed Liam's entire body tense. His voice remained carefully neutral. "Do you get some thrill from toying with me?" Fresh tears welled up. In our previous marriage, I'd gradually fallen for him during our daily life together. Yet his perpetual coldness always froze my confessions in my throat. Had I not found his diary after his death, I'd never have known he'd loved me since our college days, not out of obligation to repay Professor Peter. Liam massaged his temples like confronting an impossible equation. "What will make you stop crying?" "I really want to marry you," I sniffled. The ink on our marriage certificate hadn't even dried before I tucked it away. "Professor Peter will think it's fake if we only have one copy." His gaze intensified. "I'll explain it to Professor Peter with you." I shook my head. He went back to our hometown. After our last fight, he'd packed up and left in the middle of the night, likely staying away for weeks. Liam paused. "Let me take you home then." "Liam," I pleaded. Are we really living apart right after getting married? His jaw tightened. What are you suggesting? I want us to live together. At his conflicted expression, I bulldozed ahead. I'll go pack my things. Come get me when you're done with work. Liam arrived at my apartment that evening. His car had barely parked outside his downtown loft when Emma called. Ethan's throwing Sophia a birthday party. You going? My grip tightened on the phone. Sophia, the campus queen who'd always hovered around Ethan. By the way, Emma added. Ethan says he can't reach you. Did you change your number without telling him? Not going. Doesn't matter. Emma exhaled in relief. Ivy. I'd be so happy if you've really moved on from him after all these years. Just, don't go running back if he sweet talks you again. After a moment of silence, I said, I'm married. She paused before responding. What do you mean? Exactly what it sounds like. At the back of the car, Liam had already unloaded the luggage. I pushed the car door open and spoke into the phone. I'll explain everything after I finish up here. Under the streetlight, the man's tall frame stood sharply defined. He walked ahead with steady, measured steps. In our previous life, we rarely took walks together. The most memorable time was when he picked me up from work and our car broke down near home. We ended up walking back that day. In his journal entry about that evening, he'd written, we could have held hands freely, yet lacked the courage to do so. Remembering this, I quickened my pace to catch up. Under his startled gaze, I interlaced our fingers. Heat radiated from his palm, and though he tried several times to pull away, I held tight until he relented. Only when we reached our doorstep did I release his hand. He entered the master bedroom and emerged moments later carrying bedding. There's only one bed. You take the room. I'll sleep on the couch tonight. I stared incredulously. Liam, are you seriously suggesting separate rooms on our wedding night? He averted his eyes uncomfortably. If we don't cross that line, then when you eventually regret, my lips silenced his. His breath hitched violently, and he pushed me away within seconds, clutching his mouth like a violated maiden. He stumbled back 2 steps. I advanced, he retreated. Cornered. He dropped the bedding and bolted out the door like an escaping convict. Liam vanished. For 24 hours. He ignored calls and texts. Emma invited me to lunch, snickering at my gloom. You look like a sexually frustrated housewife. I lifted one eyelid. You'd be crankier than me if your husband fled on your wedding night. Her smile died. After consideration, she offered. There's a class reunion tomorrow night. Should I have someone invite your husband? I grinned. This is why you're my bestie. Emma appraised me before dragging me away. Where are we going? Shopping. 30 minutes later, I eyed the scandalous lingerie in Emma's hands with dismay. She held it against me approvingly. When you get tipsy tomorrow night and he takes you home, this'll ensure he stays. My cheeks burned. This doesn't cover anything. Emma rolled her eyes. Why would you want coverage? She selected 7 pieces, enough for nightly surprises. Blushing furiously through checkout, I turned to find Ethan's gaze. His eyes narrowed as they lingered on my shopping bags. Expression unreadable. I schooled my features and walked past coldly. His hand shot out to grip my arm. What did you buy? Clothes. A soft chuckle escaped him. Ivy. Who's the lucky recipient of these? I smirked. My husband. Naturally. Ethan laughed openly. Trying to win me back through lingerie? I met his gaze. What relationship exists between us that I'd need to win you back? His eyes narrowed dangerously. Who's been sending me good morning and good night texts every day? And who's been flirting with me over messages? Ivy. It's not like I'm stopping you from pursuing me. I rolled my eyes. He'd always been delusional about his charm. But our memories were too distant. I couldn't even recall why I'd liked him in the first place. Before I could respond, a blushing woman approached him holding a nearly sheer outfit. Will this work? It was Sophia. Ethan immediately released my hand, wrapping his arm around her waist. Absolutely. Buy a few more, you'd look stunning in anything. Sophia playfully swatted him. You're impossible. The memory of my past life resurfaced. After receiving Sophia's love letter, Ethan had started spacing out with that stupid grin while texting. Whenever I asked, he'd brush it off as just chatting with the guys. Later, I found a new designer outfit in his car. I'd thought it was a surprise for me. But weeks passed with nothing. Then I saw Sophia wearing that exact set. When I confronted Ethan, he'd shrugged. It's just clothes. Don't be so dramatic. We'd grown up together, I knew every tell of his lies. So I broke up with him. He refused, telling me to calm down. That same night, the police called. Ethan had gone straight to Sophia after leaving me. Their car crashed on the highway. No survivors. Earth to Ivy. I've called you 3 times. Emma snapped her fingers, pulling me back. Ethan and Sophia had already disappeared into the mall. Nothing. Let's go. Home glowed with warm light. Liam was back, sprawled asleep on the couch with dark circles under his eyes. His company was finalizing a groundbreaking product, the same innovation that would make him a fortune next year. I draped a blanket over him, grabbed pajamas from my shopping bag, and showered. When I emerged, Liam sat upright reading. Liam. I smirked. Your book's upside down. He fumbled the novel aside. You should sleep. I've got work. He stood. But I blocked his path. Why won't you share our bed? Because you might regret this. I've never regretted marrying you. My throat tightened. I chose you. Let's make this work. Please? His knuckles whitened on the doorframe. What about Ethan? The name stabbed through me like shattered glass. Ethan's ghost haunted us both, an uncrossable chasm. In my previous life, I'd realized my feelings for Liam too late. When I finally confessed during his business trip, he'd asked that same damned question, what about Ethan? Back then, I'd sworn Ethan was childhood infatuation. What I feel for you is deeper. His voice had cracked through the phone, don't lie to me. Ivy. I'll prove it when you return. I'd promised. He never came home. A mugging gone wrong, Liam took a bullet shielding some kid overseas. I didn't even get to see him one last time. Why are you crying again? Liam clumsily wiped my tears before sighing. I won't sleep on the couch tonight. Stop crying. Liam. I sniffled. Don't lie to me. I won't. One bed. 2 separate blankets, that's what he meant by sleeping together. While he showered, I changed into a towel, beneath which was the lingerie Emma had meticulously picked for me. Yet he didn't even glance my way. Just crawled into his own blanket. Frustrated, I slipped into his blanket, wrapping my arms around his neck. Are you not into this? He turned his face away. Voice strained. Do you realize what you're doing? Liam. We're married. I know. You can't refuse your marital duties. I loosened the towel, pressing myself against him. The moment his skin touched mine, he gripped my wrists to stop me, kicking off the blankets. I lay fully exposed. But he instantly averted his gaze. Ivy. He rasped. It's not too late to back out. Stop talking. I kissed him. His Adam's apple bobbed as he murmured. Ivy, shut up. His resolve crumbled, meeting my urgency. Emma was right, the lingerie trapped him. There was no turning back now. But at the critical moment, he froze, staring coldly at my lower back. What's this? My stomach dropped. The blooming lotus tattoo I'd gotten years ago, originally just a floral design until I'd asked the artist to add Cupid's arrow. Later, Ethan saw it while swimming and got a matching bow tattoo. Somehow, rumors spread that we had couple tattoos. Maybe Ethan had leaked it intentionally before planning to confess his feelings. Back then, I'd let the gossip linger because I liked him. In my past life, I'd lasered it off after Ethan's death. But now, reborn and disoriented, I hadn't dealt with it yet, and it had exploded at the worst possible moment. Before I could explain, Liam slid out of bed, heading for the door. I grabbed his arm desperately. I can explain. I got this first, Ethan copied it with his bow tattoo. I swear it wasn't some couple thing. Liam. Please believe me. His lips pressed into a frosty line. The passion from moments ago had vanished, replaced by a blade-like detachment. Liam, he pulled free. Sleep. I'm going to the office. He never returned that night. After hours of waiting, his text finally came the next afternoon. Sorry. I got caught up with work and lost track of time. Last night was my fault. Let's talk after the class reunion tonight. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, deleting and retyping without finding the right words. Frustration mounting. I held the voice message button and yelled, Liam, are you even a real man? The fact that he'd let reason prevail in last night's situation either meant he had issues or I lacked appeal. But staring at my 36C reflection, self-doubt seemed impossible. Could he actually be? Emma called to pick me up. Waiting downstairs, I ran into a classmate heading to the same reunion. Ivy? She exclaimed. I nodded curtly. She eagerly linked arms with me. You're coming to the reunion too? Perfect. If you give up on Ethan now, you're just handing him to someone else on a silver platter. Whether you're fighting or whatever, everyone knows you two were childhood sweethearts. It'd be tragic if you didn't end up together. Use this reunion to clear the air, don't let this chance slip away. Back in high school, everyone assumed Ethan and I would eventually date. Yet through this life and the last, we never made it work. Still, some misunderstandings needed closure. We do need to talk. I conceded. Is that Liam? My classmate suddenly pointed. Following her gaze, I spotted the familiar car parked roadside. The driver's sharp profile was unmistakable. Heart leaping, I started toward him. He met my eyes with an icy glare before speeding away. It really was him. My classmate squealed. Rumor said Liam's coming tonight too. I need to touch up my makeup. See you there. Ivy. Liam had always been exceptional, top grades. Model looks. His transfer sophomore year dethroned Ethan as school heartthrob. Their rivalry peaked when Liam became my deskmate. They'd avoided sharing space at reunions until tonight. Emma called as I exited the mall. Holy hell. That curve hugging dress. She whistled upon seeing me. You'll blind everyone tonight. Babe. Teasingly. She added. So? Did he stay over last night? My enthusiasm wilted. Summarizing last night's disaster, I sighed. Can't blame him. Emma said. You know Liam and Ethan's history. Yet kept that tattoo to spite him. Regret flooded me, the damage was done. Everyone assumes you and Ethan belong together. Emma continued. Even if he claims to have a girlfriend now, you need closure. Especially about the tattoo. Nodding. I touched my lower back. The fresh laser removal stung, but lifted a weight off my chest. At the hotel entrance, Emma cursed her boss's last-minute document request. Fucking corporate overlords think we robots? She exhaled sharply. Go ahead. Ivy. I'll rush back. The lobby buzzed with reunion energy. I straightened my dress, preparing for the most consequential night of 2 lifetimes. Approaching the private room entrance, I raised my hand to knock when I overheard my name through the door. We all thought Ethan would confess to his childhood crush last time. Who knew he'd pull such an unexpected move? Someone chuckled. Another voice chimed in. After Ethan went public with his relationship, Ivy changed her number immediately. The second she heard Ethan was coming tonight, she jumped at the invitation. Let's take bets, think she'll win back our man today? The room erupted in laughter until Ethan's familiar drawl cut through. Enough. There was never any confession. Ivy's been deluding herself this whole time. Instant agreement followed. Remember when she practically glued herself to Ethan to get those matching tattoos? So pathetic. Can't blame her though. Choosing between the girl next door and the campus queen? I'd struggle too. Why choose? A lewd voice suggested. Ethan's smirk practically dripped through the door as he replied. You underestimate me. A few fallen soldiers never stopped a real general. My skin crawled. Even prepared for his toxicity. Hearing it so brazen still shocked me. I turned to leave just as Sophia rounded the corner. Here for the reunion? Her smile didn't reach her eyes as she pushed the door open. Silence fell. Sophia claimed the seat beside Ethan, draping herself over his arm like living decor. Darling, is this one of your classmates? Every head swiveled toward me. Some faces gleamed with schadenfreude. Others feigned pity. Ethan's lazy smirk widened. Indeed. His gaze raked over me. MS. Peter. We meet again. The room erupted in forced chatter as old friends pulled me aside. Ivy. Since when did you become this bombshell? Blame those shapeless school uniforms. My former roommate laughed. Deliberately loud enough for nearby men to hear. At least we spared the world from entitled mediocre men leering at her. Under cover of laughter, she whispered urgently. Please tell me you're over Ethan for good. Completely. I'm married now. Her champagne flute froze mid-sip. Since when? Quiet courthouse ceremony. We'll host the proper wedding later. Who's the lucky? Her shriek cut through the room. Liam? You married Liam? Nodding. I moved to explain when my phone buzzed with a work call. Stepping into the hallway. I barely reached the corner before being yanked into shadow. Ethan's cologne assaulted me first. Married? To Liam? His laugh held knives. Even if you threw yourself at him, that ice prince would never. The rest evaporated as memories flooded me, not of this smirking predator, but of late-night conversations with Liam. His steady presence during Ethan's funeral I'd refused to attend. A lifetime compressed into one clarifying moment. I met his sneer squarely. Unlike you, Liam doesn't need validation from cheap conquests. His grip slackened in shock. Walking away, I finally understood some silences aren't defeat, but liberation. It wasn't as heartbreaking as I'd imagined. Nor did I feel like I couldn't live without him. Yet the soul-crushing pain I'd felt when Liam died still haunted me day and night. What's wrong? Hit a nerve? Ethan smirked obnoxiously. Is admitting you like me really that hard? Still can't get over me? Beg nicely and I might reconsider. Ethan. I flashed the ring on my left hand. I'm married. The ring replaced the tattoo I'd lasered off. Its twin still hidden in my bag, meant for Liam that never came. His expression remained unchanged. I know. You claimed you married Liam. Ivy. Stop with the theatrics. I never said you couldn't chase me. Suddenly I remembered teenage Ethan, golden boy radiating confidence wherever he went. Under the sunlight. He'd grinned arrogantly. Ivy. With me around? You think you'd ever look at anyone else? Same old Ethan. Overconfident about himself. And about me. But. I removed the tattoo. Stop spreading that matching couple ink nonsense. You know exactly how that tattoo happened. Also. Here's my marriage certificate. I shoved my phone in his face. Ethan's smirk vanished. You photoshopped fake documents with him and made it your lock screen? I didn't bother explaining the certificate's authenticity. We'll send your wedding invitation soon. Do attend. I walked away without looking back. The private room buzzed around Sophia. My friend pulled me beside her. Ivy. Sophia says Ethan proposed. Any comments? The question came from a classmate who'd always disliked me, Ethan's secret admirer, furious that Sophia now joined our tangled dynamic. I shrugged. Send the invite. I'll prepare a generous gift. She sneered. Maybe they won't invite you. Not with your history with Ethan. Sophia froze. The room's stares prickled my skin. No one intervening. Meeting Sophia's conflicted gaze, I stated coldly. Slander requires evidence. I'd hate for my husband to misunderstand. The girl snorted. Still pretending? If Liam's really your husband, will you confront him when he arrives? I'll wait. Ivy. Enough. Ethan materialized behind me. Jaw clenched. Liam would never touch my leftovers. These games stopped being cute years ago. I grabbed a cocktail and splashed it in his face. Awake now? Sophia shrieked, dabbing his face while glaring at me. How dare you? Need 2 more drinks? I stared at the dripping Ethan. Till you stop deluding yourself? Ethan lunged. Hand midair when another larger hand intercepted him. Liam. Ethan spat through gritted teeth. I melted into the familiar embrace. Voice trembling. He tried to hit me. Honey. Liam shielded me, murmuring reassurance as the room erupted in gasps. Am I hearing this right? Liam Wilson is really Ivy Peters' husband? Oh my God. My academic idol Liam is actually married. My fantasy is shattered into pieces. Should I say it? Ivy and Liam are such a perfect match. Way better than Ethan. Shut up. All of you. Ethan Johnson's roar silenced the private room. His lips curled into a chilling smile. Well? Isn't this interesting? Care to explain? Ivy? When exactly did you start hooking up with Liam? No wonder you agreed so easily when I asked you to keep your distance. You'd already found your next target. The sheer audacity of this gaslighting. I opened my mouth to retort. But Liam spoke first. We've been exchanging letters since middle school. Why do you think I transferred to your high school class? The revelation stunned both Ethan and me. I suddenly remembered my middle school pen pal. We'd written weekly letters sharing matching values and interests. I'd often wished they were my real-life friend. Our correspondence abruptly stopped junior year, right when Liam transferred to our class. Wait, hadn't my pen pal been a girl? Ethan finally recovered. Eyes darkening. So you two were already involved back then. I bit my lip before snapping, stop playing the victim. Even if Liam and I weren't together, you and I were never going to last. Since when do you decide our relationship's fate? He sneered. I glared back. Depends whether you'd live long enough to find out. Someone might distract you straight into an early grave. The color drained from Ethan's face. He stared like he wanted to bore holes through me. Ignoring him, I grabbed Liam's hand and left. We walked home in heavy silence. The moment our apartment door closed, I shoved him against the wall in the dark entryway. Liam Wilson, you've hidden this for years. All through high school and beyond. He'd never mentioned our letters. Using your sister's name to trick me into falling for you, how exactly are we settling this debt? He shifted guiltily. The pen name was my sister's idea. She wrote the first letter. When you sent photos revealing you were a girl, she handed the letters to me. You knew it was me all along. Yes. I gritted my teeth. I sent you dozens of photos. You never gave me one. A soft chuckle escaped him. Sending photos would have ruined my cover. In the darkness, I stomped on his foot. Couch. Tonight. I turned to leave but tripped over something. Strong arms caught me mid-fall. Liam's warm breath brushed my ear. I'm sorry for misunderstanding you earlier. So he'd heard my argument with Ethan. My still aching back kept me bitter. I pushed away and flipped on the lights, storming into the bedroom without looking back. To my surprise, Liam followed. What are you doing? I glared. He pouted. We only have one bed. I grabbed pajamas and locked myself in the bathroom, emerging in a silk camisole nightgown. I reasoned if he'd resisted temptation through my bulky sweaters, this flimsy strap dress wouldn't register as seduction. We'd survived 2 chaste nights already. On the 3rd night, I was applying my skincare routine in a silk nightgown when Liam suddenly appeared behind me. He shadowed my every move until I climbed into bed, pretending he didn't exist. Before my head touched the pillow, his muscular arm hauled me against his chest. Parading around like this all night. His gravelly voice vibrated against my ear. You've been testing my patience. I smirked. Deliberately provoking. If you can't handle this. Genius Liam, my taunt dissolved into gasps as his hand slid under my nightgown. You'll learn exactly what I can handle. He mumbled against my skin. An hour later, I clutched the sheets to my chest. Twice is enough. Let me sleep. His angelic smile contradicted the grip on my ankle. Twice barely proves my capabilities. When dawn bled through the windows, I choked back tears. You've made your point. Just finish Aurea. Patience. He murmured, tracing the rose tattoo on my hip. Almost there. Emma raised an eyebrow during our lunch date. Love looks good on you. I silently cursed my trembling thighs. Ethan split with Sophia after their reunion. She warned. Rumor says he's still hung up on you. Her words materialized that afternoon. Ethan stood outside my building, stubble shadowing his jaw. Ivy. We need to talk. Nothing left to say. You remember our past life too. His desperate grip stopped me. We never officially broke up before I died. So? I shook free. You raced to Sophia the moment things got tough. Would have never known about your highway hookup if I hadn't investigated your crash. His face drained of color as I continued. Move on. Ethan. I have. Give me another chance. Blood speckled his lip when Liam's fist connected. 3 more punches landed before I restrained my furious boyfriend. Stop. You'll get arrested. Ethan crumpled to the pavement, still clutching my wrist. He's not right for you. I love you more. I married Liam after your death last lifetime. My words froze him mid-plea. Loved him long before your accident. The crowd gasped as Ethan's grip finally slackened. His broken whisper hanging between us, please, love me again? Liam finally stopped. He took my hand that had been grabbed and pried Ethan's fingers off one by one. Without a word, he led me home and held my hand under the running faucet for what felt like hours. Only when my skin turned raw did he dry it meticulously with a towel. I wondered how much he'd overheard. 1,000 explanations tangled in my throat. But he spoke first. Ivy. I had a dream last night. I died overseas. My breath hitched as I stared at him. His gaze never wavered. Not a dream. It happened in our past life. Didn't it? Liam, he suddenly pulled me into an embrace. Ivy. If anything ever happens to me, promise you won't do anything reckless. I froze in his arms. Memories flooding back, the crushing depression after his previous death. The night I'd slit my wrists. In that hazy darkness, I'd seen him weeping, begging me to live for us both. That vision had pulled me back. Wrapping my arms around him now, I whispered, I'll keep living. Every day I'll wish for our next lifetime together. His hold tightened. I love you. Ivy. I love you too. After lifetimes apart. My heart remains yours. Epilogue 3 months later. Sunlight streamed through the chapel windows as Emma adjusted my veil. Ethan came earlier. She murmured. Left his gift and disappeared. Looks like death warmed over, like he's got some terminal illness. Just reminded him of certain truths. I said. Watching our reflection, a radiant bride and her uneasy friend. Emma snorted. Enough about that loser. Ready to melt Liam's socks off? I smiled, recalling last night's comical scene when my bridesmaids had dragged Liam from my apartment. The news came 4 weeks after our Hawaiian honeymoon. Emma's text buzzed during breakfast, Ethan's dead. Liver failure. Doctors said he'd refused treatment. His parents sent a package. I returned it unopened. No dramatic farewells. Just an ordinary Tuesday when someone's yesterday became permanent.